Hi everybody, welcome back to Mando Lessons. So glad to have you here. My name is Baron Collins Hill, and in this week's lesson, I have a little exercise surrounding the idea of modes. Modes is a great concept that can really help you understand music theory in some different ways and communicate better as a musician, but it's also a little bit of a tricky topic, and there's a bunch of different ways that people can approach kind of understanding and using modes. So I just wanted to go through one of those little ideas today as a little exercise you can use on the mandolin. Without further ado, let's jump in. Alright, so in order to do this exercise, the only thing you're going to need to know is a 2-octave G scale. So that's the first octave. If you're not familiar with it, we have G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, and gotta name those notes. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. And then the second octave starts from that G on the 5th fret of the D string. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Maybe go back down. G, F sharp, E, D, C, B, A, G. G, F sharp, E, D, C, B, A, G. That's a great exercise in and of itself to just name those notes while you're playing it. But G has one sharp, it's that F sharp. So, you know, if you were playing on the piano, you could start with like a C scale that has all white notes. We don't really have that visual representation on the mandolin. So as long as you remember that there's an F sharp in a G scale, you'll be off to the races. So what we just played is referred to as the Ionian mode. People usually just call it a major scale or the major mode. And that's sort of the basis in this way of thinking about modes, that you can access different modes and sort of play around with those ideas. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using those notes, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, in 2 octaves. Except rather than starting and ending on G, we're going to start and end on different notes. So we've started and ended on G, and we get a G major scale. Now if we start and end on an A, we have A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A. And let's just play around in 1 octave at this point. And when you do this exercise and you kind of play around with these different modes, make sure to try to make it a little bit musical. You can just play the scale and say, okay, there's the next mode. That's the Dorian mode. A to A with just that F sharp. Or you can make it a little more useful in my book and actually try to, you know, play something that sounds a little melodic. And always ending on that A to really kind of drive home what the root of the scale, the tonic, is. So that's a minor mode called the Dorian mode. Next up, we have a mode that we don't use a whole lot in folk music, but it's B to B. There's our root. Play around with that a little bit, always coming back to end on the B to really drive home what the tonic is. Next up, that's the Phrygian mode. So we start with Ionian, then Dorian, then Phrygian. Next we have a Lydian mode, which is not the most common, but you do find some tunes, especially in a lot of Scandinavian music, that uses the Lydian mode. So it's going to be that G scale, but starting on C and ending on C. C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C. C, B, A, G, F sharp, E, D, C. So it's almost a major scale, except you've got that F sharp Again, play around in that scale, always ending on that C to drive home the tonic. That is the Lydian mode. Next up, we have Mixolydian, which we find a lot in Irish music as well as old-time music. It's all over the place in a lot of traditional kind of Western fiddle traditions, and that is the Mixolydian mode, starting and ending on D using the G scale. Also very related to the major scale, except for that C natural. So we have D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C natural, D. So that's a little bit of a tune called The Old Bush, a great Irish tune in a Mixolydian mode. And it's got a little bit of C sharp in it too. But that is the Mixolydian mode. Next up we have Aeolian, which is kind of what people generally think of as the minor mode, but honestly I think Dorian gets used more in folk music. But Aeolian is start and end on E. E, F sharp, G, A, B, C natural, D, E, D, C, B, A, G, F sharp, E. Sorry, that's the C sharp. If you make a mistake, just do as I do and be aware of it and move on. E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, C, D, E, E, D, C, D, C, B, C, B, A, G, F sharp, E. Nice minor mode. That's Aeolian. And last up, we have Locrian, which again, very much like Phrygian, does not end up in a lot of traditional music, but we'll play through it anyway. It's starting and ending on F sharp, but using the G major scale. Sounds very not grounded to our kind of Western ear sensibilities. And that is the Locrian mode. And then if we go up one more, we start and end on G, and we get back to Ionian in the second octave. So that's one way of thinking about modes. You can think of, starting with a major scale that you're probably familiar with, and then using each scale degree, so G is the first scale degree of a G major scale, A is the second degree. You can start and end on those notes and really play around musically as much as possible. Really just noodle around and always end on that kind of scale degree. So again, the Dorian mode, for example, is A to A. Starting and ending on that A and making that A the real tonic, the real root of that scale you're playing in, and then naming it, saying, okay, I'm going to play the Dorian mode. Can help you. So these modes end up a lot of places in a lot of Western music, and so you'll find them a lot. I have other lessons on different ways to kind of think about modes. This is not the only way, but it's one way to sort of get those modes under your fingers and start playing around with them on a practical level. You can explore my website, mandolessons.com, or the YouTube channel if you want more information about modes and different ways of thinking of them. But that's all for today. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.